Baba, Mayor. For real, for real. No cap. That's the move. But that no cap. Oh my god, bro. For real, for real. Slay.
Ba 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 ba.
I'm just old man, come on.
Despite the fact that Lewis won't remember a thing tomorrow, the day is once again saved. Lewis, what can we do without you?
Yo-ho, and we're making Lewis here into a sheep farm. Wahoo! Sheep farm, here we go! Ladies and gents, welcome back to the Let's Play. It's of course me, your cool friend Wing here, and as stated in the intro, our friend Lewis here is going to be the de facto head of our new sheep farm. Thank you, Lewis. Without you, the poor sheep back in the sheep village would not have survived, and this is to commemorate and honor your name, your face, forever, as the de facto head of our sheep farm. Folks, we are actually here in my creative world. Did I trick you? Did I trick you? Did you think this was actually in survival? No, we're not in the survival. We're in creative, and I needed to mock up how Lewis is going to look like. So this is how Lewis looks like. And yeah, I tried to keep the palette consistent with the theme that we're going for in the survival world, which is sort of like a medieval and fantasy theme. So instead of having like a vibrant sheep head made out of, with sheep wool and all that stuff, we're keeping it traditional, keeping it made out of stone. So we've got some quartz eyes for the sclera. We got some black cement. We got some variants of stone. We got some diorite variants here and some smooth stone. Yeah, this is going to be how Lewis is going to look like. And we might make some modifications depending on how we're going to fit him in the survivor world. We're actually not going to be putting him in the survivor world. We're not going to be putting him above ground. Is what I meant. So this is all just a facade for the intro. We're actually going to be putting Lewis's face underground in the depths below, over here. Yeah, imagine if Lewis was down here. So yeah. So why are we even doing this, folks? I really, really desperately need a sheep farm because there's something that I'm doing right now for a specific build, and I'm currently like putting this huge gigantic square as map art, and I'm going to use that map art for something specific that I will unveil when the time comes. And also, do you remember Kingsfield Island? Yeah, we just visited that last episode, but I need I need a bunch of black something to make a certain area of that map. It won't be for quite some time, but I'll need a lot of it. And I figured that I'm going to use black wool for that, and for the thing I'm trying to create. Currently, I have a little black sheep farm going, but it's all manual, and it's driving me absolutely bonkers to keep harvesting wool from them. So I just decided, let's just go finally build a automated sheep farm, which is going to be this. And that sheep farm is going to not only produce a lot of black wool for us, but other colors like white, green, blue, red, yellow, magenta, etc., etc. So that's going to be this. This is going to be Lewis. Lewis is going to be head of it. So yeah, that's why we're doing this. So let's head out over to the survival world. Let's head over to the dig area. I'll show you the area. I'll show you the plans for it, and let's go. And now we're back at the survival world in a undisclosed location because this location is a secret until we unveil everything in I don't know when. I was actually planning to do it this episode, but I really needed a sheep farm quite badly to be built, and I'll tell you all about it later. But yes, so I've sealed up the entrance behind me, although you can see a little bit outside, so it's kind of like a spoiler too. But all I can say is the spawn base and the spawn chunk is behind me. Like it's totally behind me, a few blocks away, but it's right behind me, and that kind of plays an important role in what I want for this sheep farm over here. But that is not the sheep farm. The location of the sheep farm is going to be right behind me over here. And I just did a quick dig just to illustrate a few things for you here. So the plan of the whole thing is that the whole thing is going to be hollowed out. So I want like a deep cavern here, and it's going to be a huge deep cavern because we're going to be hollowing out quite a huge space here. So down the middle where the stairway ends at is going to be a bridge, as you can see here. It's going to be a 2-block wide bridge, and the cool thing about it is we're going to be we're going to be walking down here, and once we get to a certain platform, I think probably here or a bit further down, it's going to split into 3 paths, one that way, and if we keep going straight, it's going to head on to Lewis, our sheep farm over here. And we're going to be building the head into the wall, right? So it's going to be onto the wall. Lewis is here. We go in. We get our stuff. Ooh, wool. And then we go. We leave. So yeah, just imagine this whole area is going to be hollowed out. I think we're going to keep the walls as is. So it's going to be that deep over all the way there. It's like 15 blocks deep. From here, it's like 15 blocks that way, 15 blocks that way. I still have to determine how deep this goes, but remember how I was telling you folks that it's good that we're currently right now, the location of this area is kind of like at the border of the spawn chunk, and that is very important because if we do have a bunch of entities, and which this case is going to be sheep, just imagine that we're going to be having a bunch of those entities be loaded onto memory the whole time. And that's how the spawn chunk works, right? So everything in it is going to be always loaded onto memory. So that's going to take up a lot of RAM. And we know how our RAM situation these days is kind of crazy. So we gotta have to keep that RAM usage down low as much as we can. So it's going to be it. So with this going to be at the border and hopefully going to be out of the spawn chunk, or at least at the areas where it's inactive, we're gonna hopefully keep the entity count low in the spawn chunk and the memory usage quite low. So it's gonna be hopefully lag free. So since we are also quite mindful about our resource usage here, we're going to try to make the sheep farm as basic as possible. Basic. And if you're quite familiar with Mr. Tango Tech over at the Hermitcraft server and you're watching season 11 right now, you may know that he actually built a sheep farm, an automatic sheep farm that produces a bunch of black wool that he needs for decked out 3 because he needs quite a bit of it. And there's the reason why I brought that up is because, for one, I'm going to be borrowing his sheep farm idea because it's pretty simple and low tech, and it will get the job done. And 2, I also need that amount of black wool. I need a ton, because currently right now I'm building a big, huge black square in the middle of nowhere for map art that will need, and that's something is I will unveil to you. Like the reason why we need it, I will unveil to you at some point. So yeah, keep that in mind. And number 2 is, if you remember Kingsfield Island, which we were just at that last episode, I do need a bunch of black wool for a specific part of the game where I have to basically do exactly what Mr. Tango Tech is doing and enclose a whole space with something black and dark, which is going to be black wool that we're going to be getting this sheep farm done for. Actually, folks, I do have a sheep farm, and it's actually not that great. It's a very basic sheep farm, but it's got some cool tweaks to it. Basic. Here, let me show you where it is. So if you remember the Peeps village, right? Okay, here it is. Here's Peeps village. Now, if you go towards the left, a little bit past the pumpkin and melon patch over there, and you go down the stairs, here it is. We got a bunch of white and black sheep there. Now, the pretty cool thing about it is above and below the sheeps are like additional patches of grass. Now, those patches of grass help to accelerate grass regrowth from when the sheep eat the grass to regrow their wool. So they actually really grow back really fast, but it still is quite a pain because everything's manual, and to harvest the wool, you have to go inside the pen with your shears and just shear each individual one, but it's quite messy and it's quite painful. So I've been collecting my wool this way, but it's been very, very painful. So I really, really am desperately needing this sheep farm to be built. So there's that. And some of you keen-eyed audience members might have already spotted the problem that we have with this build, and it's this, the bridge that we're on right now. So as you can see, it's a 2-block wide bridge, but do you remember Lewis has a 3-block wide mouth? So I'm such a stickler for details. I'm an insect for details, and it's going to drive me nuts if Lewis's mouth is offset to this bridge over here. So can you imagine his mouth is going to be just over here, these 3 blocks over here, and it's just going to be closed off like this. Can you imagine Lewis is going to be like that? I can't have that. That's not going to work for us. So we are going to have to go ahead and do something about Lewis's mouth. We have to make it either larger or smaller, depending on how it looks. So I'll head over to the creative world and I'll see you there. We'll take a look at what we're going to make Lewis into. Boom. Alrighty, so I made up a mock-up, and if you recall again, this is Lewis and his 3-block by 4-block tall mouth. So this is Lewis with a 4-block wide and 4-block tall mouth. You can see Lewis kind of looks weird to me here. His face looks a bit more spaced out, and rightfully so, because his mouth is wider, so we have to stretch out his face. So I kind of don't like how he looks like here. He kind of looks kind of weird. It kind of takes me a while to figure out that it looks like a sheep. So I mocked up a 2-block wide, 4-block tall mouth Lewis here. And I think we're gonna go with this design because it looks more sheep-like, and really just look at it and oh yeah, that is a sheep for sure, because this is more in line with the actual dimensions of the sheep head, with the exception of stretching of the mouth. So this is what we're going to be doing. Although I really did wanted his mouth to be wide, just so that way we have a wider entranceway, and then it's more open. But since we're going to be stuck with a 2-block wide Lewis mouth, we just gotta make do. We've gotta make do. But it kind of helps us a bit that Lewis is going to be flush into the wall, so we can make the inside wide while the mouth is still going to be a bit narrower at 2 blocks wide. We can just make the inside look as huge as possible, and that way it can accommodate all the chests that we need, as well as whatever visual flair we're going to do inside. So yeah, of course we're gonna put some decorations to make it look a bit nice. So yeah, this is that is the plan for Lewis's head and sheep farm. So we've got some progress made. We've excavated a bit more material from the room here. I'm still not sure if this is going to be the dimensions that we're going to be working with, but as we have Lewis built here already. Welcome to the survival world, Lewis. This is going to be the maximum direction we're going for this one, for this axis here. But in terms of this direction, we might go maybe a few more blocks that way. I'm not really sure yet. We'll see. But yes, to help with all that excavating, we got a beacon set up here. Woohoo! Been helping a lot so far. And we also got test sheep when we're ready to go and finally set up the whole sheep farm here, let's take a look at the room that we got set up over here already. Okay, so this is what's inside Lewis. And let me explain to you what's going on here. Let me change perspectives. So, when you go inside, you'll see that there's 16 barrels total. And that is represented by the amount of wool colors that's currently in the game right now. So it's 16. And on top of each and every single one of these barrels, as you can see, is the perspective wool color that's going to be going inside each and every single one of these barrels. Okay, not stone, just wool. So I put the item frames above the barrels because if we do have the item frames in front of it, over here, it's going to be a little bit annoying to access the barrel. But even though the wool is up there, I think it's relatively easy to figure out which barrel has which wool color, thanks to the sea lanterns here giving a good contrast of the color of the wool itself. Although I might have to switch this a bit because it might get confusing which green is which. So, and in terms of the farm itself and the sorting, so the sheep and the farms is going to be located behind here somewhere. And when the wool is harvested, it's going to enter an item stream. It's going to go whoosh, 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 down, 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 until it hits this area, which is going to be a water elevator, an item elevator. And that item elevator is going to go all the way to here. So pretend it's the water elevator. It's going to go to this, enter this item stream here, this water stream. And we're going to, each and every single barrel will have all these chests. I think we don't need enough these many chests, but yeah, you'll never know. But there's going to be the item filter, and that's going to filter, it's only going to select which wool goes into which chest, right? And that's going to go all the way down to there. And the item frame is going, the item stream is, the water stream is going to end over here. And I'm going to put a overflow chest here, just in case there's a specific weird item that gets picked up in the stream. It'll get picked up by a chest at least. So yeah. And so if you've noticed, I did separate the room in half over here. So meaning one side would have 8 colors and the other side would have 8 colors. So I'm going to be separating the sheeps by their respective colors in each side. And I think the idea behind that is it would help the items sort quicker than if we have everything, conjoined to one space. So, because imagine if we have all the items funnel into one end and they would have to go around. It would take some time for, let's say, this light gray wool to go from there to over here, right? So at least if we got it split here, the items would enter here in the middle and go to their respective locations. So at least, even though the light gray wool is all the way over here, it would still be quicker if the wool comes from here in the middle instead of all the way over here at this end. Well, folks, as much as I want to do a little bit more work for this episode, we are unfortunately out of time. Oh boy, whatever it is that we're doing, we're going to save it for the next episode or the subsequent episode. Who knows? But I just wanted to say one more thing about this place, and it's that if you notice in the video, we did get some slime spawning around these parts over here. So what if we actually do make some part of this place into a slime farm? Yeah, have an area dedicated under the bridge here to be made for the slimes to spawn and die and give us slime balls. We'll see. We don't know how the rates are going yet, so time will tell. But hey, folks, I'll catch you in the next one, all right? So you just stay safe, stay healthy, eat good, rest well, all that stuff. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, all right? It probably won't take too long for the next one, okay? So you don't have to wait for too long. Yeah. yeah. So if you like this episode, you know what to do. Just give it a hug. Give the episode a hug. You know what? Give give the next YouTube video you watch a hug. They all need hugs. Every video needs a hug once in a while. And we'll watch the next episode together, all right? I promise. All right? All right. I'll see you later. Okay. Catch you later. All right. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye-bye.